Auburn Gresham is my community. It's a neighborhood located on the south side of Chicago around Brainerd and Chatham. Riding through the blocks, it's what I call a normal scenery. Convenience stores, houses, bus stops, parks, along with liquor stores, abandoned churches, vacant lots, and trash that decorates every block you pass. Does it bother me? Nah, this is what I see on the daily. That's the thing though. This is what the media always covers: the violence, the drugs, the mothers crying for their babies, and the mugshots of black men. Does this happen? Yeah. However, in Auburn Gresham, there is so much more to all the negative things you see. There are people in our community that inspire and lift up those who are lost. There are businesses and organizations who are doing good in the community, despite the COVID-19 restrictions, to bring light to Auburn Gresham.
A lot of the guys that I lost growing up come from the Auburn Gresham neighborhood, and just even, 2 days ago we celebrated Keem's birthday. It was a guy that I grew up playing basketball with, so I wanted to make sure I didn't lose any more of my friends, and the friends that I was losing was coming from the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. So I credit that neighborhood 100% to this foundation. The people that I lost in my life to gun violence put me in a bad mental health space. Put me in a depression. My anxiety was high. My trauma was high. My PTSD was at an all-time high. So I knew what effect that it had on children in Chicago. And everybody that I lost, I played basketball with them. So I just kind of felt like basketball was the way to open up the door to talk about a more serious conversation. We started off the foundation focusing on 18 to 23-year-olds, right? Because I felt like that was like the forgotten group. We feel like once you turn 18, you're thrown into the fire for real, and there aren't many resources for you. So that was the group, and those are my peers, right? With the foundation growing, we ended up opening it up to 14 to 17-year-olds, right? So now we have a high school department, and with the high school department growing, we ended up doing mentorship programs in elementary schools. Everything we want to do moving forward with mental health, we want it to be almost like fun in a way, right? But still helpful.
Gun violence is real. People don't come back. And these organizations realize that. They are here to make a change and to bring up the injustices in Auburn Gresham and elsewhere at every level of government.
Brave, we participate with the After School Matters with the Peacemakers. So it's where some of the brave youth leaders participate and teach new incoming students how to be peacemakers in their neighborhood. We participate in panels where we talk about gun violence in Chicago and how it affects us personally. So May 31st, the day of my graduation parade, I decided to go back outside with my friends. Walk to the gas station by my house. Next thing you know, when I was done talking to some of the people in line, I kind of just turned. I seen a truck pulling up, and next thing you know, I was hitting the ground. Since preschool, you're told to call 911 in a moment of danger. And the first time something like this ever happened to me, I called 911, and you mean to tell me they not answering?
November 20th, 2016, my son was doing a performance at a club up in Wicker Park, and coming out of the club, someone shot him 5 times and he didn't make it, he was murdered. And our organization is out here advocating for justice for our children who was lost by gun violence. What motivates me to do the work I do for Purpose Over Pain is to help any mother that was in a situation like me learn to cope and deal with the loss of their children or their loved ones.
So I was heavy in the street culture in Auburn Gresham, an area of which known by the name of Foster Park. I plagued the community with a lot of violence. I can remember my grandmother going to a CAPS meeting, and she came home and was crying. I was like, "What's wrong, Granny?" She was like, "The whole meeting was about you and how you came and destroyed our community and how the police want to arrest you and the guys that you're with." And so, that stuck with me for a long time. I had decided that I wanted to be more help than harm. I think it was, an influx of a lot of different things happening all at one time. My son was born, and I didn't want him to grow up the same way that I did, but I didn't know how to do it without being in the street culture. I ran across a guy, Archery, who worked at Target area, and they had this organization called Ceasefire. And from there, now I'm here working with former Secretary of Education, Arnie Duncan. And we hope to have a transformative reduction in gun violence.
It takes a lot for a business to get established. Recognizing this and the freedom that comes with being an entrepreneur, here are two Black-owned businesses that are on their grind and paving the way for others.
So Auburn Gresham is near and dear to my heart and also my family's heart. I'm from Auburn Gresham. My husband is from Auburn Gresham. I'm born and raised here, and as we all know, this community has been plagued with a lot of violence and a lot of unrest, and we wanted to be able to come back and have a reason to be here every day so that we can leave our mark and whatever influence that we can have in a positive light for our community. A lot of hardships with COVID-19, especially with training staff and getting the proper supplies and even the proper tools that we needed on a day-to-day to just operate. COVID-19 has definitely been a challenge. However, we are seeing the light now, and the community has been very, 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 very receptive, gracious and generous with us, and we're grateful that they're doing a lot to keep us here.
What made me start my business was I like fashion. If I could spend a lot of money on some clothes, I could invest in myself. And then also my daddy got locked up when I was 16, so it was like I want to start something positive to help my mother out. I actually did do some research. Like, there's a website called Spreadshirt, and I was just playing around making shirts on that first. And I actually didn't launch my brand until like a year later, some months later, because I wasn't confident enough. So it was like I went through the process of making the shirts, showing other people what they think, showing my family, and they were like, yeah, I should do it. And then one day I finally decided to do it. 2 years I've been doing it by myself. I got my own machines at home, and it's like I just make the stuff. I pick the stuff up, make it, do drop-offs all by myself. But in the future, I do want to have a team. My younger siblings inspire me because I want them to be better than I was, and I want them to take the path that I did.
What brings the community together? It's businesses and organizations that's main goal is to engage within the community. And these organizations here not only do all these things for Auburn Gresham, but they also touch lives and motivate those to choose better paths.
This has become more like a family here, even with when we had all the looting and the rioting. Luckily, we were not touched, but a lot of our seniors were affected because they can't go to the dollar store and get the needs that they want. So we were able to provide them with their medicines and their personal needs that they needed to get them through those times. We always do back to school drive, clothes, just giving clothing, and then just being a resource when we need to be.
My community supported me no matter what, even though some people doubted me, but that's one thing, my community always supported me, and it's like, they push me to the next level every time. It's probably like a few people that don't got a shirt, but a lot of people buy shirts, and like when I say for instance, I drop some, my community be the first one to reach out to me like, yeah, I'm right here, pull up with it right now, or not even asking for something free. Like sometimes I get some people in my neighborhood, some free merch, like if you shopped a lot, if you supported me a lot, I'm gonna support you in a way. But I feel like if everybody come together, we could better our neighborhoods and have better opportunities for the young youth that's coming up under us.
You have heard the passion, the struggle, and the commitment from each business and organization. They have established trust within Auburn Gresham to do the work to continue to raise up our community. It's people like them who remind you that in every cloud, there's a silver lining, and after every storm, there is a rainbow. Now, I ask you, yes you, to share your story. Share the things that you have faced in your community and how that challenge or obstacle has transformed your life. Oftentimes, we don't see that our hardships set us up for a breakthrough. and that with each breakthrough comes a testimony that leads us to encourage others to share their truth. Share your truth using the hashtag SOT, which stands for Sharing Our Truth, on all social media platforms. Thank you all for watching.